All right, everyone. I wrote down a few things to talk about today. So, deal flow had been real slow the past couple months, as I've been talking about here. Things have started to pick up a lot. We got a contract today. We've had a lot of appointments booked this week. Have made some changes too, so I can't say if that's the market or the mindset of sellers changing or if that's because of things we've done. I'd like to think it's probably a combination, but I'll share a couple things that we've done. I think first thing is we ran our quarterly meeting a little bit differently this year. We still ran the traction model, but what we did is for anyone who's used Miro before, it's a kind of way you can visualize and design things on a screen, is we use that for our quarterly meeting. And one thing we did, I think I mentioned on previous live, is we had a why session with our team, which was really insightful. So everyone on the team, a few days before the quarterly meeting, went on to one Zoom, and everyone had to ask at least one why question. And a lot of people asked a lot, like, why do we do this? Why do we do that? Why don't we do this? And it was really helpful that, first of all, to give people in different departments clarity on why we do certain things, and also bringing to the surface that once I asked that question, we had to justify again, why are we doing it this way? Are we doing it this way because we always did it, or because it's the right way to do it? And that helped us generate a lot of ideas too for our quarterly meeting. So for our quarterly meeting, we took the Miro board and we created our goal for the quarter, which is 100K in booked net revenue. Some contracts take a while to close, so that's why we use booked, but we are factoring in the fallout percentage of contracts within that as well. And then what we did from there is we took like what obstacles could prevent us from reaching that goal. So we listed out all those obstacles. And the cool part about Miro is it kind of lets you move all this stuff around the screen, so you can move it down and have certain things next to each other that help you think about it better. So we put it as a vision, which is the three visions are selling yourself on that goal, what it's going to look like when that happens. And from there, we took those obstacles, and then below the obstacles were ideas. A lot of them came from our team Y session or ideas that we had that we added before that quarterly meeting. So from there, we had a bunch of ideas, and then we decided, hey, which obstacles are the biggest obstacles that are going to prevent us from reaching our quarterly goal? And once we identified those, we said, what ideas are going to help us blow through those obstacles? So we were really focusing on and getting clarity on what is going to stop us from hitting our goal, and only putting rocks into place from those ideas that would help us overcome those obstacles. And so from there, we created rocks. So for anyone who doesn't know, rocks are 90-day goals, and they have an owner. And a couple of ones that we came up with, my main rock for the quarter, I have another one that's almost already done. It was a shorter term one, although still a bit of work, was to build better relationships with sellers. And I created a bunch of milestones. So we put 6 milestones for each rock. And that's a combination. And what we realized is that the past deals we've done where we've done the best on those deals, they were because we had a good deep relationship with the seller. It wasn't transactional. They knew us when we called. We were maybe in touch with them for a few months. So part of that rock was building out the systems to make sure that happens. The CRM assigning leads, ensuring we made contact with them every X amount of days, doing things like sending them personalized videos, the qualified leads, like texting them personalized videos after you talk to them. And then there's a training aspect on the acquisition side, is getting the acquisitions guys used to that's how we're going to do things. We're going to build deeper relationships with sellers, and we're going to target the right sellers as well. So I'll actually read off the rock, because I think, so the rock itself was acquisitions is following a process to build personal relationships with sellers who are most likely to sell to us. So not only are we building personal relationships, but with the sellers who are most likely to sell to us. There's a whole discussion we can go into another day of how we've created that in our CRM by scoring leads and things like that. But that's my main rock for the quarter. So it's a combination of systems and processes and training people to ensure that we're constantly keeping that in mind. Some other big changes we made is we set it up so everyone on the team has what's called a cookbook. I took this from Sandler training. And a cookbook is like your recipe for success. So it's kind of, if you're in sales, it's easy. You want to make 100K earning commission. So to do that, you need X amount of appointments, which means you need to hold X amount of appointments, which means you need to book Y amount of appointments, which means you need to make Z amount of calls. And for sales, we did that for everyone, but also for other areas of the company. The admin team, what are their most important tasks that they need to do each week in order to drive the company forward towards that quarterly goal? And then that session that we did with our team really gave everyone clarity of how what they do on a day-to-day basis impacts the overall company. So I think it helped us focus on the right things, and it also helped people understand why what they're doing is important, which I think is something that's been pretty effective and eye-opening for people. Sometimes people don't realize why they're doing things and the impact it has on the overall picture. So that was something that seems to be working well for us. Are almost all the way through that. That cookbook gets converted into a scorecard. So then we're holding them accountable on a weekly basis to make sure that those things, most important things, are being done. Then the other thing I did is we moved two of our other team members to add to acquisitions. One of them was running all our operations and marketing, and she moved over to acquisitions. And then my cold call manager, he's moving over to acquisitions as well. They systematize their other jobs where they'll spend about 10% of the time over there and in their other roles, and 90% of the time, or probably 80 to 90% of the time, in an acquisitions role. And we set really strict timelines that if they're in acquisitions, they have a month to get a deal if they want to stay in that role. Otherwise, they're going to go full-time back to their other role. I think they could totally do it. First day on the phones was today after a few days of training, and they've already setting up appointments, doing live transfers to appointments. So I think that was the right move. And everyone in the company right now is just so focused. Everything we do is just revenue driven for this quarter. Not really worried about rental properties or anything like that. We just need to drive revenue to get to a good place, because the last few months, frankly, have been difficult, very difficult in terms of deal flow. So that's what I got for this week. That visualization for a quarterly meeting really helped, and that format that I outlined. If anyone wants a copy of that Miro board and how we did it, I'm more than happy to share it. You can look at all of our vision, our rocks, our obstacles. Happy to share that, or you can use the template on your quarterly meeting if it's something that resonates with you. So send me a message if you want that, and I'll see everyone next week.